Hey everybody, welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy. A special Avengers Endgame sneak peek just dropped and it has a lot of plot reveals. So before we get started, big spoiler warning for Avengers Endgame. The first shot is of the Avengers compound. Notice we're seeing the HQ featured in a lot of these trailers, and there's a very good spoilery reason for that I'll get into later. Next we have a bit of dialogue from Banner being pragmatic as usual.
If we do this, we'd be going in short-handed.
Yeah, you mean because he killed all our friends?
The Avengers are talking about a mission to challenge Thanos. And Banner's saying that they're short-handed and also at a disadvantage because Thanos has the entire Infinity Gauntlet. Now we've seen various shots of the Avengers confronting the Mad Titan in this trailer and other trailers, but I don't think Banner is talking about this mission. I think he's talking about their next plan after the big fight with Thanos fails. But I'll get into all that later in the video. Now in previous trailers we saw Hawkeye, now wearing his Ronin costume from the comics, hunting someone in the sewers and streets of Tokyo. Well, thanks to the 3D trailer for the Avengers Endgame, we know that he's hunting Thanos' Outriders, the monsters that we saw in Infinity War. More than likely, after his family was snapped away, Clint is looking to take revenge wherever he can. You can visually see his changed personality later in the trailer, with his sweet new biker tattoo. This looks to me like a skull with a samurai helmet with long snakes forming from its head. This also indicates his new identity of Ronin. Historically, samurai became a Ronin after his master's death, so Hawkeye has lost his wife, his kids, and is essentially roaming the world looking for justice. But why are there Outriders left on Earth? Well, in the comic book Infinity, Outriders aren't just mindless soldiers, they're also spies. They can turn invisible and read people's thoughts. So it could be that Thanos has left the Outriders on Earth to send back information. And notice when Natasha sees Clint in the previous trailer, she has long red hair. In various shots, she has her short blonde hair from Infinity War, and also longer red hair marking the passage of time. So it looks like these shots of the Avengers suiting up happen before Hawkeye even enters the picture. Hence, his bow is in the background of Banner's speech, which is why I think that Banner's speech happens a little bit after their first mission against Thanos. Then we get the aftermath of the second worst decimation in a Marvel movie, the destruction of Steve Rogers' beard. This is a symbolic moment for the first Avenger when he's saying he's ready to embrace the mantle of Captain America again. Then Rocket and Nebula are mourning together on the steps of the Benatar, the ship of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This obviously takes place after Tony and Nebula return to Earth after being stranded in space. She would have just told him about all of his friends dying, so this is an emotional moment for Rocket. This also reminds me of one of my favorite scenes in the MCU, when Rocket was mourning Groot and Drax comforts him with a little pet on the head. Then we see Pepper hugging Tony, and I think we solved it, guys. The mystery of the Super Bowl gap. It was Pepper coming out to greet the ship, giving Tony an emotional homecoming. Remember how in the beginning of Infinity War, Tony had to justify using the nanobots for protection.
I'm just trying to protect us. Future us's, and that's it, just in case there's a monster in the closet.
I think in this movie, Pepper will see that he does need to be Iron Man, and their story will have come full circle. Then we have another shot of the compound, and Tony flies around Midtown New York. This actually looks similar to where the Battle of New York took place, around 42nd and Lex. So, if the time travel rumors are true, this could be Tony in the past recovering or analyzing the Tesseract while his past self is out having shawarma. There's a small bit of this scene from the previous trailer where Thor tries to stare down Captain Marvel. And this is actually part of a sequence that was screened for Disney shareholders, where the other Avengers are giving Carol some guff over not helping them out in the past. And she replies, well, there's a lot of planets out there that don't have an Avengers. Following that, we get this interaction with Thor.
I like this one.
Next, we see the whole team gather together and looking at something. Ant-Man and Clint look kind of nonchalant, but everybody else appears very interested. And note, real quick, this is the first time we've seen Cap and Tony on screen together since Civil War. So, what are they looking at? Well, Natasha has long hair, and Hawkeye and Ant-Man are both here, so it probably takes place a little later in the movie. So here are a few possibilities. 1, they're looking at Thor. 2, Captain Marvel. Or 3, and this is my guess, Bruce Banner, right before he transforms into the Smart Hulk. In Infinity War, Banner was kind of useless in a fight because he couldn't become the Hulk. So that's why some of them don't look very impressed. But then he'll reveal that he and the Hulk have worked things out and Banner's intellect is now in the monster's body. Marvel's probably trying to save that reveal for the movie, which is why we didn't see the Hulk wearing a quantum suit in the last trailer. I also think they're looking at Banner because of this framed bow in the background of each shot. So maybe Banner said his piece and then moved a few feet to Hulk out. Also, why do they have a framed bow? Is it like a tribute to Hawkeye when he retired? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Tony and Cap speak to each other, again, for the first time in 3 years.
That shield doesn't belong to you.
Notice how they're on a street in New York and Cap is still wearing his Nomad suit from Infinity War. We've seen him wear 4 different suits so far: Nomad, Winter Soldier, Scaly Armor, and his Quantum suit. The suits, like Black Widow's hair, are a big hint about the order of events in the movie, but I'm going to get into a timeline breakdown at the end of this video. But there's one theory that this suit is actually CGI'd for the trailer, and that Cap is wearing his costume from the Battle of New York in the Avengers. That would confirm the time travel theory and explain why Tony has a different hair color and why he's asking Cap,
You trust me?
Do you trust me?
Who do you trust?
You can even see how the line of the suit against Cap's neck looks a little bit unnatural. And I love the photo of Tony presenting Peter with the Stark internship plaque. It's kind of stupid, they're giving each other bunny ears, and the plaque is upside down. It shows that Tony did see a lot of himself in Peter and that he really was a surrogate son to him.
I just want him to be like you.
And I wanted you to be better.
Then we see the Benatar in space, flying away from a planet that is definitely not Earth. I think this is Titan II, Thanos' retirement planet. In that footage that was screened for shareholders, Nebula tells the Avengers about this planet that Thanos wanted to retire on. So they all suit up and head out there. That's this shot where the team is sitting in the Benatar ready for battle. Notice Steve is wearing his Winter Soldier suit and Natasha has short hair. So my theory is the Avengers are ready for this big epic battle with Thanos, and he's not there. This shot of Rocket from the Super Bowl spot is him checking out Thanos' empty hut. All the Avengers find is a naked Scarecrow where Thanos used to hang his armor. Thanos thought he was going to watch the sunrise on a peaceful universe, but maybe now his plan is backfiring across the galaxy. There's actually more death or less food because killing half of all life also meant killing the plants and animals.
He wiped out 50% of all living creatures.
So he has to once again bring order to the universe. That's why we see his ship Sanctuary 2 in orbit around a different planet later. So the Avengers head home all disappointed and time passes. Hence Natasha's longer hair and Steve's new scaly suit. But then we have this moment of Thanos teleporting among some wreckage, and he's sitting here all casual while the big 3 franchise Avengers stand to face him. This is the same fight that featured all of these shots from the previous trailers. Now in our last video, I said this could be Thanos' retirement planet.
I was wrong.
Now I'm going to backtrack a bit and say this is actually the wreckage of the Avengers compound. There have been lots of toy releases in the past week that shows something will happen at the Avengers HQ. And this will happen early in the film. Thanos shows up, destroys their HQ and the Benatar. So now, to start the movie, the Avengers have failed again. Most of the base is gone and they have no way of traveling into space. But then Tony comes up with a plan to use the quantum realm and the team all marches forward in their quantum suits. Why does Tony come up with this plan? Well, because Doctor Strange specifically kept Tony alive because it was the only chance they had to succeed.
There was no other way.
And by the way, this scene can take place after the HQ is destroyed because the hangar is actually separate from the main building. So I think it's very, very likely that Thanos will kill someone in this fight at the HQ. If it's someone who's not in a quantum suit later, that leaves Pepper, Hulk, Thor, or Captain Marvel. It's probably not Captain Marvel or Hulk. She just started up a new franchise, and we've seen leaked images of Professor Hulk in a quantum suit. Pepper dying would really be a gut punch to Tony. Gwyneth Paltrow posted an Instagram of herself wearing mocap pants, implying that she's going to suit up as her comic book alter ego, Rescue. But I don't think she's likely to die. It's more likely that Tony will die and she'll be carrying his baby, as foreshadowed in Infinity War.
I dreamt. We had a kid.
Or, here's my favorite theory. Maybe Thor could die early in the film. He got a lot of screen time in Infinity War. The death of the team's heavy hitter early in the movie would really knock them back on their heels, and also would permanently strand them on Earth. That would cause Tony to look for another solution to fight Thanos, such as the quantum realm. And because of the time travel plot, Chris Hemsworth can still appear in the whole movie just as his past self. Now there is a toy of Thor wearing the quantum realm armor, but then again there was also a toy of the Hulk busting out of the Hulkbuster armor. So let's just take toys with a grain of salt. Except for the Avengers HQ toys, those are totally hit. So let's say Thor dies. If Marvel wants to keep the Thor franchise going, Valkyrie could become the new Thor. Let me know if you think that's a good idea in the comments below. Well guys, that's all the Easter eggs we noticed, but how about you? If there's anything you spotted, be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you're here for the first time, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.